Om Swastiastu. Hello friends, my name is Dewa Satya Raditya. I am from SMA Negeri 1 Gianyar, and today I would like to tell you a story about what will happen if you don't follow health protocols in this time of pandemic. I'm going to start with a story that I call the cultural custom. One day, somewhere in the village in Bali, there's an elderly couple. Let's just call them the grandpa and the grandma. The grandpa is a 66-year-old guy who worked as an administrator in the village customer organizations. Because of his job, he had to meet with a lot of people, helping a lot of people, especially in preparations of social events and traditional ceremonies related to the village customers. In the other hand, the grandma is a 60-year-old woman who works as the head of village financial institution. In the season, there is a funeral that has a lot of people to do the preparation. But because of this, it is really hard to apply health protocols such as wearing masks, washing hands, and the most importantly, social distancing. The grandpa has a congenital disease, and that is diabetes. But during this time of preparation for the ceremony, he does not care about his congenital disease. Instead, he just keeps pushing himself to do his job and to help other people for the preparation of this ceremony. A few days before the ceremony ends, he's starting to feel tired and start to develop flu-like symptoms. A few days after the ceremony ends, he's taking rest at home and taking medication to the disease that he thought was a normal flu. But the thing is about to get worse. Fast forward a couple of weeks, the grandpa's symptoms is still showing. Because of this, the grandma is starting to feel suspicious. Then she asked the grandpa, "Are you sure this is just a common cold here? Should we visit a doctor?" asked the grandma. The grandpa denied the grandma's offerings. He said,
No need for that. No need to see a doctor, dear. I'm sure this is just because of my disease. It is just a common flu. It will recover on its own.
the grandma cannot do anything except to accept it. In the middle of the week, the grandpa started to have high fever. Then the grandma is getting more suspicious. Then she asked the grandpa one more time. Dear, are you sure that this is just a normal flu? This is, I think it's getting much more worse. Should we visit the doctor? The grandpa immediately rejected grandma's offer again, and then he said,
No need for that. This is just a normal flu. I'm swearing. This is just a normal flu. It will recover on itself.
the grandma can't do anything except to accept it again. And then, in the end of the week, the grandpa is starting to have trouble breathing. The grandma is starting to panic. She immediately contacted one of her closest family members to take them to the hospital immediately. The grandpa gets rapid tested, and the result is reactive. The nightmare that the grandma really scared about is becoming a reality. After the grandpa getting reactive in the rapid test, and he shows signs of COVID-19, he is immediately sent to the isolation chamber and given oxygen to help him breathe. A few days after the problem of his breathing improved, he gets swab tested, and the result is he is positive of COVID-19. After that, he's starting to enter a critical period, which must be monitored by doctors every day. The nurses keep informing his family about his health condition so that the family anxiety will reduce. As for the grandma, she's alone in her house. Her family did not dare to visit her. because they were also afraid that she was also infected. And also, she was not communicative at all. This is because she doesn't want to get any bad information from the hospital. And in the technical problems, her phone cannot ring at all. This is making her family feeling suspicious and really worried if something bad happened to her. Fortunately, one of her closest family members contacted the local COVID-19 response team. The COVID-19 response team traced people who had contact with the grandpa and get them all rapid tested, including the grandma. And the result is all non-reactive. But as for the grandma, even though she's non-reactive, she still has to do self-isolation. Back again to the grandpa, his health condition is now improved, and now his health condition is stable. But the hospital is beginning to fill with COVID-19 patients and getting more little and little space to contain them. Because of this, the hospital decided to send grandpa home. Even though he is still positive, but his health condition is now stable. After the grandpa was sent home, he still have to do self-isolation and keep distance as far away as possible from the grandma for the whole 2 weeks. During this time, they have to use different things. Everything is different, like using different rooms, different bathroom, different tablewares, and even different laundry area together. And even different laundry area. During this time of isolation, the local COVID-19 response team monitored them regularly every day by asking if they have any problem related to COVID or they show any symptoms of it. Fast forward a couple of weeks, they have passed the monitoring period. The local response team considered they are not to be at risk of causing transmission of the COVID-19 because they didn't show any signs nor symptoms of COVID-19 and they didn't have any health problems related to it. Because of that, they give them a statement letter that they are free from monitoring and they are considered not to be at risk for transfusing the disease. Because of this, the grandma can go back to her work as the head of the village financial institution, and the grandpa's family can visit him anytime. The moral of this story are, in this time of pandemic, we have to really take care of our health. We have to apply health protocols wherever we are, such as wearing masks to prevent droplets, washing our hands with soap and water, and applying physical distancing at least in a minimum distance of 1 meter per person. We also have to help the government to reduce the spread of the COVID-19 by staying at home and following health protocols. At last, we have to pray to God of Almighty and hope that this vaccine and the cure for the COVID-19 can be found. That's all of my story. I hope you guys enjoy it. Thank you. Om Santi 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 Om.